Hello Flosstube, Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches here with my Flosstube update number 385. Today is Saturday, May 10th. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. The dogs are fussing around over there. So happy Mother's Day. For those of you whose mother is with you, take her out to lunch, do something nice, whatever. For those of you whose mother has passed away, like ours has, enjoy the day, just remembering and celebrating her memory, and make it lovely. Anyways, so today is time for my regular update, and I have a few things to show you. Last weekend was a spring mingle, and I did some of it. Saturday was kind of a busy day, so I didn't get back to it until the evening, and the same thing on Sunday. I think by the time we got back from church, there was just a little bit left, and I was like conked out, slept through kind of the ending of it. So just because of circumstances, I didn't spend as much time doing the spring mingle as I might have otherwise. I did not take the class, but I had fun anyway. And one of the things I did for spring mingle, although it wasn't required, was I had a new start for spring mingle. So I think I talked about this last week. The Mouse's Snow Day. This is a TinyModernist pattern. I have done 3 other of these mouse patterns. And part of me is itching to say, maybe I want to do more of them. But anyway, so I started it on Friday of spring mingle, which was May 2nd, and I finished it. I was enjoying it so much, and I was so close to finishing it that I just kept going and finished stitching it. I did 2/2 with all the called for threads. I think they're all weeks dye works. So yeah, the one thing I did, I made one little boo-boo that I realized after I had finished it, everything, was that this little door in the cabin is supposed to be 4 stitches high, and I only did 3. And I realized it later on, I was like, oh, that door is supposed to be a little bit taller. But it doesn't matter. If you're a mouse, it doesn't matter. There's a cat hair on there. But yeah, so I finished that. There's the little mouse. Yeah, and this is 2/2 on 30 count fabric. And this was fabric that I bought at the attic. They just had these small cuts by themselves. I don't remember. I don't think it said who the dyer was or what the color is called or anything like that. It was just a sort of a dark olive green kind of color. Yeah, but I think I did a little floss toss with these colors because I was a little concerned that the greens might not show up, but I think they show up very well. I knew the whites would look good on this fabric, but I was concerned about the green. But it looks really good. It stands out because it's such a different shade than the fabric. The fabric looks almost gray on camera, but in real life it's it's got a definite green color to it. Anyway, that is Mouse's Snow Day. And I used, the instructions say to use 1 thread for the back stitching, but I used 2 because I felt it showed up better on there. I tend to do that, to use 2 for back stitching, just because sometimes when you use only 1 thread, I don't know if it's I just pull too tight, too much tension or whatever, but I feel like it disappears into the fabric a lot of times, and so I usually use 2 anyway. So that's what I did for Mouse's Snow Day. Let me find a place to put this where I won't cause a crap-a-lanch. Excuse me. So the other thing I did was, for WIPGO, I had pattern that I designed for my dad called Wayfaring Stranger. I worked on that briefly for Father's Day. I mean, not Father's Day, for my dad's birthday on the 20th of April. And it just so happened that it came up in the WIPGO call for this month, so I went back to it. So this is just a simple design with the words from a song here from him and my dad's family and my mom on one side of the Jordan River and my dad on the other. I'm just going over Jordan, I'm just going over home. And this is us, me and my siblings and nephews and niece swimming in the Jordan. Anyway, so I designed this for my dad a couple years ago, I guess, when he passed away in 22. And so I think I did this that year or the next year, either later in 22 or in 23 sometime. And I started on it, but it's taken me a while to do it because, as I said before, I'm doing it on this very tiny count fabric. It's listed as just embroidery fabric. If you buy it at I bought it at Hobby Lobby, and it's just called embroidery fabric, but it has, the little square grid on there that you can see if you stitch it, but it's very tiny. And yesterday, my sister and I went to the attic, and I was, they have several models stitched on very, very high count fabric, like 50 count or even more, higher than that. And so I was looking at them, and I was wondering, if I was trying to tell if the count on the stitch count on that fabric was the same or smaller than what I'm doing on Wayfaring Stranger. And in some cases it looks about the same, but so yeah, so it's like, this is very small. And because it's so small and so dense, I'm not enjoying it as much. If I had to do this over again, and I don't think I will, but if I did, I would choose 28, 32, 36 at the most, because I think it would have gone faster and it would have been easier. And even though this is dense stitching here, the little grass and river patch here, and there's another cat here, sorry about that. But I think it would have gone easier, it would have been easier on higher count fabric, just because to see it, easier, because for instance, I can't work on this in here because there's not, the light's a little too diffuse, and I need to have very bright light on the fabric so I can see the holes more clearly. And one of the things that is slowing me down is trying to make sure I'm getting the needle in the right hole. And like right here, I've done like half stitches here. I'm going to go back and finish it, but I just got to the end of the thread and stopped for a while. And so, because I was sick of doing this back and forth with the blue on the river, I went ahead and went over here to work on the sheep. So I finished all the sheep's bodies, and right now I'm working on their heads. And another thing that I kind of regret about the choices that I made is that this green grass is so dark that it's hard to see. You can kind of see in the right angle and the right light, you can see the sheep's heads and and ears and their legs. Their legs and ears are backstitched, and their tail, and then their head is just one over two little stitches. And this little baby sheep here is on my design, because it's designed to be like 2 over 2. This little sheep, the ears and the tail and the legs are kind of like in the middle of the square, like over 2, you would kind of split it and do one, over like a half stitch kind of thing, half a square. but, and so theoretically, it's possible, but it's really impossible because you'd have to have like a microscope or something to get that in the right place. So I just kind of fudged it and, you know, one regular over one kind of stitching like I would do with a big sheep. So yeah. But anyway, so I have this side, this half of their heads and back stitching over here on these 5 guys, but I've done everything on this side. So there's one more sheep over here, and then the back stitched fish here in the river. But so theoretically, I think I've done 3. Let's see, Wednesday, the 1st, and half of Wednesday. I did not work on it on Thursday, and today. So 3 days, and today's 4th day, Saturday. I've worked on it some today, this morning. So 7 days is the goal on this, and so that would be like what, Tuesday or something. So theoretically, I could finish it if I'm, you know, buckle down and work on it. So I may or may not finish it. I could probably finish the sheep very easily, and maybe the river here, because that's just, you know, like 3 or 4 more rows. 4.5, because I have to do the other half of this side. But so this is almost done, and then the fish backstitched on here, and then there's, you know, another blob of grass. It's a lighter color green, I think, on this side, and only 1 sheep. So, you know, but it's a smaller area. But I did finish the border all the way around, and last week I talked about how I put the lettering in, my dad's, you know, name and dates. And I wish that, because this is so small on this tiny fabric, that it's hard to see. If you're looking right at it in real life, it's a little easier to see. On camera, it's a little harder. But the words of the hymn show up well enough. It's just, you know, and I kind of wish I had done this like in a darker thread, like a black thread. But it is what it is, as they say, and it's almost finished. So theoretically, I could finish it, like I said, in the next few days. So there's that. If I would like to finish it, just because I've been working on it for such a long time. I'll put this over here. But because I had been working on it, and I was kind of like, I was having to make myself work on it. I was not. It's not something that I've been going, oh, good. I can't wait to work on it. Like I was with the mouse thing. Like I said, I was enjoying it so much. I just kept going. I was close to finishing it, and you know, it was going well, and it was easy to do. Excuse me. So I. You know, like I said, I was enjoying it. I was looking forward to it, and so you know. But when I went back to working on Wayfaring Stranger, I was just like, you know, because it was so hard and so slow, such slow going with the higher count, and I'm using a very fine needle, a teeny weeny little needle. My dogs. Hey, cut it out. Hey, go play somewhere else, please. The dogs. So it was kind of a chore, you know, having to make myself do it. You know, I have to put in my 7 days, you know. And so as a palette cleanser yesterday, because we had to film our 3 Sisters video yesterday, because today we would normally do it on Saturday, but my younger sister had to work 2 concerts, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, and had really very little to no time in between, and all that. And so she's going to be working until late tonight. So we filmed Friday night, and I knew that Wayfaring Wayfaring Stranger I could not work on in here while we film our video. So I worked on the Raccoon, which is my other WIPGO whip for this month. This is number 5. This is by Cottage Garden Samplings, Year in the Woods series. Came out a couple years ago. And so this is number 4 in that series. And when I worked on it the last time, when I started it, like in May, the year after these patterns came out, I think they came out in, let me see if it says here real quick, 22. So I did them in 23. I started them in 23, I think, and so in May, I think I was doing mania of some kind, and so I stitched just this little corner flower, you know, and I didn't do anything. So then last year, I did a little bit more on the body of the raccoon, and so yesterday I worked on this. This is the gray kind of on his head. I think I had done this, and I had done his tail here last year or whatever. But so yesterday I worked on this part of his head, and so I'm hoping to get significant work done on that, because of the 7 days I've only done 1 so far. So as soon as I hit the goal on the Wayfaring Stranger, I'll go back to the Raccoon. And then I still have 2 new starts for this month. Parade of Elephants, which is a Hello from Liz Matthews design, and one of the Jingle Ball Baubles ornaments from their ornament book, Let It Snow. I think I've talked about that before. Let It Snow by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So I still haven't chosen fabrics for those. I think I have all the threads lined up, but not what fabric I'm going to do them on. So then the other thing coming up is cross stitch camp, and I think I talked about last time the Biscornu that I'm going to do for the Are You a Day or a Night Stitcher? I'm both basically, and so I'm doing the Celestial Sisters Biscornu that has a moon on one side and a sun on the other. And then I think I'm also for the Stitch Something New to You, which is the August challenge. The Day or Night Stitcher is the June challenge. The Do Something New to You is the August challenge, and I think I'm going to do a Biscornu there, the Vincent van Gogh Starry Starry Night Biscornu by, I can't think of the name of it, Cosford something stitching. Let me see, I have it right here. Cosford Rise, Cosford. Oh, if I have it right here, I do. Can't put my hands on it. Yeah, Cosford Rise stitching. This Starry Starry Night. So again, I think what I'm going to do with those is that, because they're not gigantic or anything, I think what I'm going to do is dye fabric for those. And because the Celestial Sisters, sorry, I have it here somewhere. The Celestial Sisters Biscornu, the sun is done on cornflower and the moon is done on sapphire. And then this is done on Mystic. I think this, yeah, picture this plus, and this color. These are fiber on the whim. These two colors. But what I think I'm going to do is dye fabric for those, and I'll do them all on the same shade of blue, but in sort of gradient colors. So the piece that I'm going to do for the sun, I'm going to take it out light, less. So they're all in light, medium, and dark in the same dye bath, if you will. So they just sit in there less time for the sun, and a little bit more longer for the moon, and the longest for the Van Gogh design. So I was thinking about doing another Biscornu for the favorite designer, but I think what I'm going to do is interpret the July challenge, interpret it a little differently. The challenge is to stitch something by your favorite designer, and I think maybe it falls under the category of favorite designer, now that I think about it. But it's the hold on one second, hold on. Okay, I went to look this up. Forget-Me-Nots, which is one of the Night Garden series that they were doing at Nashville, is by Ink Circles, Tracy Horner Ink Circles, which is another one of my favorite designers. And it's also the reason I thought of it was, as far as favorites, it's my favorite subject, which is elephants. I was going to do all Biscornus. I thought, it would be a perfect way to do another Biscornu. And one of my favorite designers is TinyModernist, and she has lots of Biscornu patterns. She had Biscornu of the month. I don't know if she still has it going. I don't know if she still has it going, but she has several Biscornus. And I thought, I know she has an elephant one, but I thought, I already did that. It's almost finished. I think it's put away, but I don't think it's finished. But anyway, I thought, I have this Forget-Me-Nots is part of the Night Garden designs, and it's by Tracy Horner, like I said, which is one of my favorite designers also. So, and it's one of my favorite subjects, which is elephants. So I think maybe I will do that. And it's also, it's also small, so I may be able to do that one. And I have to look at fabrics to see if I probably have something appropriate for that. But anyway, so that's my upcoming cross-stitch camp decisions. And speaking of online stuff, I did get threads. When my sister and I went to the attic yesterday, the dogs are growling. They're goofing around. So I picked up some threads. I had, these threads are for, I don't know if it's Parade of Elephants or something else coming up, but these threads were called for that. These are Gentle Arts colors, Toffee, Summer Meadow, and Trade Wind, these three. And then a Weeks Dye Works color, Blue Heron. Grits and Blue Heron are called for some pattern that I have, and they were out of grits, but they had Blue Heron, which I could have sworn I had, because I have Blue Jay, Blue Suede, blue this, blue that, but I don't have Blue Heron. And I could have sworn I had a skein of grits, but I don't. If I have one, I don't know where it is. But then also at the Spring Mingle, I was looking at patterns that were available, and this is actually an older pattern. This is from 2022, but I had seen it before. It's a Lindy Stitches pattern called Beachcomber, and I had looked at it some time ago, you know, and considered it, but I had not purchased it. But I went ahead and bought it at the Spring Mingle, and so it says the verse thing on it says, "Comb the beach for treasure with me. My heart resides beside the sea." So there's a whale and a puffin, and a penguin, and a seal, and various shellfish and starfish. And she uses on these little sprinklings here, she uses beads. And she says something about, she says, "I used a mixture of 3 Mill Hill beads in this project," and she lists the numbers. "The placement of each color is random and unimportant, just mix it up." The dogs are barking, sorry about that. So anyway, so for the Beachcomber, it's DMC except for, it says you'll need 3 skeins of Lighthouse. This is Colored Cotton Lighthouse. In looking at the design, I don't see where it would need 3 skeins, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it's used for, I don't know what it's used for in the pattern that would call for that much, but this is Lighthouse. And then it says you need 1 skein of Dinky Dyes, Tidal, this color here. And then the rest is DMC. So I've never worked with Dinky Dye silk. I have some Gloriana silks from when I did the, stop it please, from when I did the Rabbit series from Tracy Horner. Excuse me, I have a dog sniffing over here. But so I have those Gloriana silks, and I did a kit. I can't say the designer's name right now. It's gone out of my head. But it was a little kit that came with some silk threads. But like I said, I've never used these Dinky Dyes silks. So this one's skein is a nice way to start. So I don't have any plans for when I will start this, but what the heck. I figured I was going to the attic anyway, I'll get the threads for that. So I did. And then, the other nice thing that happened was that the other things I ordered at the Spring Mingle were some floss drops and some little scissors. So these are Eiffel Tower drops. They had those swan drops, but they sold out, I think, pretty quickly. And these little Eiffel Tower drops, my sister suggested, because I have actually on my key ring, I have a little Eiffel Tower. I don't have it here with me. I have an Eiffel Tower, a little metal charm that a friend of mine sent me when he went to Paris, and so he actually sent me, or maybe that was the one I got. He sent me an inflatable Eiffel Tower, and I had it for years and years. And then one of my cats, I poked a hole in it and it deflated. So anyway, I have this metal Eiffel Tower on my key ring. And so I went ahead and got these Eiffel Tower floss drops. So I thought that would be fun. And they came on this little cable tie ring thing. So that's good, that's fun. And then the other thing I bought was Storklet scissors, miniature in size, mighty in snipping. And I bought a purple. It's a little tiny scissors. Little stork scissors. And somebody online was talking about how, you know, it's very nice. They're very tiny. You can really get in there and snip. So, yeah. So, you know, my scissor obsession. So, and Lindy Stitches in her when she sent the package, sent these little coffee candy things. And but also coming up in July is her summer virtual event. You know, she's got several of these virtual events scheduled for this year. Like she did the Nash Stash, I can't say it. When was it? Right after Nashville in March or April. And then Spring Mingle was the beginning of May, and this Midsummer Stitch is July 19th to 20th. And it's the same thing. It'll be a virtual event. You can go to Lindy Stitches and see the details there. Exclusive patterns, whip speed dating, there's a community finish parade, there's the stitching lounge tables, you know, and things like that. So it's a lot of fun. So this is the summertime one, Midsummer Stitch, July 19th through 20th. So I think that is probably all I have going on. Yeah. So, yeah, so hopefully I will finish Wayfaring Stranger. Like I said, I think if I really can concentrate on it, I can finish it in those 7 days that I scheduled for it, and then that leaves me 7 days to work on the Raccoon, which I know I will not finish it, but I'll hopefully make significant progress. I would like on the Raccoon, I would like to you know, finish as much as possible of the Raccoon's body. I've been on all of these cottage garden samplings, Year in the Woods patterns. I've been doing the little cabin that's featured in each one. But this one, the cabin is way down here at the bottom. And I'm way up here. I've just done, you know, a little bit of the Raccoon himself. So I could theoretically, you know, go all the way down here and get down to the cabin. But I kind of like to get the Raccoon's body, you know, as much as possible. I think I have one of these little feet, maybe this one. Yeah, I think it's this back one. Done, just randomly out of the blue. His little back foot, you know, and part of his tail. So I don't have a whole lot of the Raccoon himself done. So I'd like to, right now I'm working on this gray on his head, and I'd like to you know, to get, at least get his face done, maybe. Getting the cabin done, that's, you know, I don't know. I've done, like, this flower is finished, and then the dark color on his body up here on his back is finished, but, you know, little else. So I don't know, I might work my way down here and get this cabin out of the way, just because I'm obsessed with that. But yeah, so we'll see. But that, like I said, I want to finish the 7 days on Wayfaring Stranger before I get carried away with that. But yeah, so like, I think I'm going to, I don't think Wayfaring Stranger is on our Etsy site yet, but I do intend to put it there. So if you're interested in it, let me know. But if I do put it on there, if you I recommend stitching it on something other than the very high count fabric that I did. Stitch it on 28 count. You know, make it easy for yourself, for your eyes, so you can enjoy it a little more. But anyway, so yeah. I think that's all I have for this week. And yeah, So I will see you next week. I'm trying to think if there's anything coming up, anything significant. Are you doing Mania? If you are, you know, how are you doing it? I'm not really doing it this year. I had just have, you know, a lot going on with this, the spring mingle and various things. I don't have anything really to do for Mania. I am, you know, starting something every month, doing 2 new starts every month. So, yeah, I don't have, if I were to do like a new start every day for Mania or something like that, I would use up all my new starts for WIPGO. And I put them on my WIPGO board because I did want to get them started. But anyway, but I'm not, you know, I have to think too much about fabrics and that sort of thing. And I still have the 2 that I'm doing this month that I haven't decided on fabrics yet. So it's a little bit harder process for me, especially because I don't have all my fabric dyes. I don't have all that stuff, you know, handy because we're still in this, you know, moving limbo. So most of my cross stitch stuff is in storage, and so although I have all my fabrics to choose from, I don't have all my fabric dyes. And so if for instance, the fabric that I'm going to dye for the Biscornu for cross stitch camp, my younger sister has a thing of blue dye, and so I probably will just use that. Because I have like 2 boxes full of different colors, you know, of dyes. But like I said, they're all in storage. And I don't want to go and buy, you know, another bottle of whatever, what if I already have it, and, you know, and so, yeah. So anyway, the whole fabric thing, you know, is a little bit harder to do right now because of this, you know, storage limbo kind of thing that we're in. So I'm not dealing with Mania right now. Anyway, so that is, I believe, that's all I have right now. Yeah. So I will see you next week. And until then, thanks for watching. Bye.